With WWE hoping for a big return this year and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Giving an update on plans for Ring of Honor getting a television deal for a weekly show, AEW President Tony Khan told Sports Illustrated, "We'll have great news soon about Ring of Honor weekly shows. The success of Death Before Dishonor on pay-per-view has ensured there will be more Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Our goal is to have one more great pay-per-view for Ring of Honor in 2022 and then follow that up with a weekly show in 2023. The late great Owen Hart was not only one of the best pro wrestlers, but he was arguably an even better prankster. Speaking about this with KNS WrestleFest, Gangrel revealed a prank that Hart had pulled on him, saying, "I go in the locker room this time, and there's all these little people, right? So they're all in there." And I'm like, what are they all doing in here? So I would dress, I'll keep it short. I put my watch into my bag and everything, and I go out and wrestle. I come back to get dressed, and my watch is gone. I'm like, what? So I want to go accuse these little people because they've never been in a locker room before, but I didn't think that would look cool or anything, saying, "Hey, you little bastard, you stole my watch." As I was leaving out, and right where catering was and everything, Owen stopped me and goes, "Hey, Dave, what time is it?" I had my other watch on. I had my gym watch, and I went, "Oh, it's 10:30. Okay, thanks." I didn't think anything of it. I don't know. 4 months go by or something. I'm dressing in that same spot. I go wrestle. I come back. I go to get dressed, and my watch is there. I go to walk out, and as I'm passing that exact same spot where catering was and everything, Owen goes, "Hey Dave, what time is it?" Oh, I didn't sell it. I just told him what time it was and I walked away, and I go, that son of a, he got me. Gangrel would also note how he liked working with Steve Blackman during his time in WWE. "I loved wrestling Steve Blackman. He was tremendous. He was one of my favorite guys to wrestle. I ran into him at an airport a couple of years ago. He looked great. He's a nice guy, man. I love him. He was a legit badass." With Mustafa Ali looking to be starting a feud with Seth Rollins over the US title, former WWE writer Vince Russo criticized this move by the company, saying this on his podcast. "They're booking Ali and Seth because it's going to be a great 5-star match. Who cares? Nobody cares. You're never going to get this guy over, bro. In his current form, with what he already hasn't done, it wasn't on him, bro. It was terrible booking and terrible writing. Okay, we were going to put Ali and Rollins. Meltzer would give it 5 stars and everybody would say, what a great match, but you won't draw one extra fan, not one." Speaking on the Not Sam Wrestling podcast about his career and when he could potentially retire, Bobby Lashley said, "I'm not doing it for the money right now. Over the years, I've compiled a really nice real estate portfolio and different things like that, so that I've taken care of my kids. Right now, I'm doing it more for the legacy. I love wrestling and I have the ability to do it. I think I'm showing people something different. I'm that guy in the morning workouts. I'm that guy that trains hard. I'm okay with being a role model. I'm okay with all these different things. So I want to stay in the business as long as I can for that reason. But if there ever comes a time where I'm running a little bit slower, I am moving a little bit slower, I take a bump and it's like, oh no, this hurts coming back up, you're gonna get that anyway. But if it ever gets to the point where I feel like I'm slowing down, then let's stop." With scammers online at it once again impersonating pro wrestling stars, Alexa Bliss took to Twitter to warn her fans as she wrote, "I hate that I have to keep saying this. I only have one account on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I do not talk to people on Google Hangouts or any personal pages or personal number. If you think you're talking to me, I promise you, you are not. And I would never ask for money or gift cards. If someone is saying they are me, cut off all communication." Touching on a potential WrestleMania match between his daughter Charlotte Flair and the current Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, Nature Boy Ric Flair said on his podcast, "I have no inclination as to whether or not this will happen, but I think if Ashley wrestles Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, it'll be as big as Austin and Rock if they build it right. They are the two best athletes ever that I've ever seen in my career to ever be in the same women's division. There are some other great workers, but for pure athletic ability, Bianca Belair and Ashley stand out. They could be the two best athletes in the company. I'm not kidding. Both are legitimate Division I athletes with credentials." When speaking to Bleacher Report, interim AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm noted how she's ready to unify the titles. "I guess my first thing would be to beat Thunder Rosa and stop this interim nonsense. That's kind of what's been bothering me. I think that's been bothering me a lot, people, because she's still calling herself the AEW Women's World Champion, and I'm the one here every week doing the work. Right now, I guess it's about being a good champion, being a strong champion. That's what I'm up against every day. I'm working harder than I ever had in my entire career. The time is now. I look at every week as just an opportunity to prove myself. I love giving it my all, and who knows where we go from here. But all I know is I'm going to continue to work hard." When asked about her home life and recently getting married to Juice Robinson, she said, "It's the best. We just did it in January. We did it quicker than we thought. We were initially planning on doing the whole wedding thing, but then we eloped and it was awesome. I love my life. It's very fun." During an interview with BNN Bloomberg, The Rock spoke about WWE potentially being sold and whether he would accept a corporate role in the company, saying, "Nick Khan and I have talked about that, and we always enjoy that over a bottle of my tequila. I love the wrestling business. I grew up in it. My grandfather and my dad started here in Canada, where his father was born. So I'm not quite too sure if a board seat is in my future, but possibly other things are in my future for sure." Speaking about Bray Wyatt's passionate return promo from SmackDown last week, Jim Cornette heaped praise on the star, saying it wasn't like Adam Page moaning and whining like a dork about his misery. "This guy, you felt like he meant it. You know, he said when he thought nothing I ever did mattered, but I was wrong. The people still asked about me and cared about me and thanked me for what I had done for them. And it was like the guy was having a nervous breakdown here on television. It was captivating. It wasn't like again, I go back to it, wasn't like that goofy Adam Page screaming and punching himself in the head where you're staring at him like, what is the matter with this guy? You were listening to what Bray Wyatt said and you believed that he was delivering it with authenticity and an air of genuineness." Wyatt's promo also helped out WWE in terms of ratings. As Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics reported, the quarter hour with Bray Wyatt's live promo at the end of SmackDown last Friday grew the audience by 9% and by 16% in the 18 to 49 demographic. Highest quarter of the show for the 18 to 49 demo and one of the biggest quarter-to-quarter growth rates of the year for SmackDown. Sticking with Bray Wyatt, when it comes to plans for a rumored faction for the star, Dave Meltzer said on TSN Radio's Sunday night's main event show that, "I've certainly heard names for a faction, but then I heard other people say those aren't the names. And someone even told me it's not even all worked out exactly how it's all going to go down." With Becky Lynch having been out of action, Sean Ross Sapp reported that WWE is hoping for her to be back in the ring this year. Early last month, a rumor emerged that Becky Lynch was ahead of schedule for her return due to a shoulder injury and would be back by the end of September. When Fightful inquired about that, nobody in WWE confirmed that. And even beyond that, we were told that the company had yet to follow up with Becky Lynch about a possible return at that point, and was never slated for a September return. Upon sustaining her injury at SummerSlam, WWE's hope was that Becky Lynch would be able to avoid surgery and would return in a few months with rehab. Lynch was at the site of Raw this past Monday, but as of early September, we were told that her doctors and physical therapists had thought it would be at least a couple of months before she could get near a ring. There's no definitive timeline on her return. Those that we spoke to within WWE Creative said they were hopeful to have Becky Lynch back by the end of the year, but that wasn't guaranteed, and was more being optimistic in the hope that she wouldn't have surgery. With Jon Moxley retaining his AEW title over Hangman Page, the match would be stopped after a lariat from Mox left Page unable to get to his feet. PW Insider reported that one source believes he may have suffered a concussion, but we don't have that 100% confirmed. Page is getting checked out backstage by medical staff. It would be additionally noted that we were told Page left the venue to get examined at a local hospital. There is still no official word as of this writing. Ringside News would post some close-up photos of the lariat shot believed to have caused the concussion to Hangman. Chris Nowinski, who is prominent in studying CT and pro wrestling, said on Twitter, sending positive thoughts to Hangman. This was not a high-risk move. Something went wrong. Ref Paul Turner is trained to recognize a concussion or a possible neck injury and stop the match. Doc Samson was ringside and there in seconds gives us the best chance for a good outcome.